Welcome to our channel. Most nickels are just everyday coins, but hidden among them are Jefferson nickels so rare that collectors will go to great lengths just to get one. Today, we're taking a closer look at these hidden treasures and the stories behind them. Let's see which dates you should watch for. If you were checking a handful of change after a normal day, you probably wouldn't expect anything unusual to appear. Most people never imagine that a common-looking nickel could be worth far more than its face value. But the first coin in today's video is exactly that kind of surprise. It's the 1979 Jefferson nickel, a coin that looks completely ordinary at first glance but has a few rare qualities that place some examples in a much higher price range. The story of this coin begins with the Denver Mint in 1979. That year, the mint produced hundreds of millions of nickels to keep up with everyday demand. The goal was simple: make enough coins for circulation. With such large production numbers, consistency wasn't perfect, and many coins came out with soft details or weak impressions. Once these coins entered circulation, they were used constantly. They moved through cash registers, parking meters, vending machines, and pocket change. Over time, the surfaces of most coins lost their original shine, and the details wore down. This makes finding a fully preserved 1979 nickel much harder than people expect. Collectors who study Jefferson nickels often look for a feature called full steps. These are the steps on Monticello found on the back of the coin. For a coin to qualify, the steps must appear sharp and complete without breaks or blending. On certain years, full steps nickels are easier to find, but 1979 from Denver is not one of those years. The Denver Mint that year struggled with die wear, which caused the steps on many coins to appear faint or incomplete. That means even coins that were never heavily used can still show weak steps simply because of how they were minted. For this reason, full steps examples of the 1979 nickel are considered very difficult to locate. Another layer of rarity comes from die characteristics. Some coins show slightly unusual details caused by how the dies were maintained. These features are not extreme, but collectors notice them because they help identify coins struck from certain dies that were used for only a short time. When one of these unusual die coins is also in high-grade condition, it becomes more appealing to specialists. Condition plays a major role in determining value. A typical circulated 1979 nickel will show worn surfaces, flattened features, and dull color. These are common and worth only face value. But a coin that avoided circulation, stayed protected, and kept its original mint state shine is much scarcer. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC evaluate these coins to determine their condition. Coins graded above MS-66 or MS-67 are rare for this date because of the combination of minting issues and general wear found on most examples. When a coin reaches these upper grades, especially with full steps, it moves into a very small population. Collectors understand how challenging it is to find a fully struck 1979 nickel. Some collectors spend years searching through bank rolls and collections hoping to find one that meets the full step standard. Others look for coins with strong luster, clean fields, and crisp details. Only a small number successfully locate coins that check all of these boxes. When a high-end example appears at auction, it attracts attention from buyers who know exactly how scarce it is. They understand that most of these nickels were never preserved well enough to reach the highest grades. So when one coin does survive in excellent shape, demand increases quickly. This demand is not based on hype. It is based on numbers. Out of the hundreds of millions minted, only a tiny fraction remain in the top grades used by collectors. That difference between production numbers and surviving quality is what sets rare coins apart from everyday pocket change. Even though the design of the Jefferson nickel stayed the same for many years, each date and mint mark has its own challenges. Some years produced clean strikes, while others struggled with weak details. The year 1979 for the Denver Mint falls into the category of tougher dates, which makes high-end coins stand out even more. The value of these coins does not come from age. It comes from scarcity in the highest levels of preservation. Most people have handled dozens of nickels from the 1970s without realizing any could be special, but rarity is often hidden until collectors dig deeper and grading results confirm how limited certain coins really are. This is why searching old coin jars or rolls from banks remains popular among collectors. You never know what might appear. A common-looking coin could turn out to be something unusual once the details and condition are examined carefully. The 1979 D nickel is a good example of this. It blends in with other coins, yet a few rare examples rise far above the rest. Among all known coins of this type, the most valuable examples share three things: clear steps on Monticello, excellent surface preservation, and strong overall eye appeal. When these factors come together, the coin qualifies for the highest grades and becomes one of the best surviving examples. These top-tier examples are the ones that achieve notable auction prices. They represent the smallest percentage of the total coins minted, and collectors recognize their importance. As a result, when a standout 1979 D nickel appears, bidding reflects its scarcity. This leads us to the key point of this coin's story. While most 1979 D nickels are worth only a few cents, one of the finest known examples reached a price far beyond what most people would expect for a modern nickel. A top-graded, full steps, premium quality 1979 D Jefferson nickel has sold for $72,000. Up next is a coin from a year that many people rarely pay attention to, mainly because nothing seems unusual about it at first glance. The 1983 P Jefferson nickel looks just like the coins most people have handled thousands of times, yet this date has become one of the most challenging for collectors searching for the finest possible examples. Its scarcity in top condition was not recognized immediately, but once the pattern became clear, the coin gained a reputation for being surprisingly difficult to find with strong detail and clean surfaces. The Philadelphia Mint in 1983 produced these nickels for everyday use, and because of that purpose, little attention was given to preserving exceptional-looking strikes. Most coins show small imperfections, tiny contact marks, and areas where the design never fully formed. This inconsistency happened early in the production process, which means even coins that never saw circulation can still appear soft or lightly worn simply because of how they were made. Collectors who went through bags and rolls of coins from this year noticed quickly that the strikes often lacked sharp definition. The raised elements that should appear crisp tend to look rounded or slightly faded. Found at full strength on only a few surviving coins, these details are one of the main reasons the 1983 P nickel is so desirable in the upper grades. Another point that sets this date apart is the quality of the fields, the open areas on each side of the coin. On many 1983 P nickels, these areas show small marks or light texture that is difficult to avoid when coins are produced in large numbers. Only a very small percentage show unusually smooth surfaces, and these are the coins that grading services reward with the highest scores. Collectors also noticed that alignment and pressure during striking varied more than usual that year. Some coins were struck slightly lighter or heavier than others, which affected the clarity of certain design elements. The few coins that received an ideal strike with full pressure and centered alignment are the ones that later became valuable. Because Philadelphia coins lack a mint mark from this period, the 1983 P nickel blends easily into groups of coins from surrounding years. People typically do not separate them from regular coins unless they're checking dates on purpose. This is one reason the coin's rarity went unnoticed for so long. Without a special mark or dramatic feature, it stayed hidden among common change until collectors began examining them more closely. As grading services processed more and more examples, a pattern emerged. The number of coins reaching the top mint state levels was extremely small compared to other dates from the 1980s. The gap between the total minted and the number surviving in high quality is much wider for 1983 than most collectors expected. Reports from these services show just how limited the top population truly is. This scarcity has made the coin one of the most competitive dates for people building high-grade sets. When collectors focus on completing sets with uniform quality, a difficult date like 1983 becomes a bottleneck. Even if they have perfect examples from other years, they must wait patiently until a strong 1983 P nickel becomes available. This pressure increases demand every time a standout example appears. The strongest examples show smooth fields, bold lines, and minimal imperfections across the entire surface. These coins display a noticeable difference when compared to regular pieces from the same year. Even someone with modest collecting experience can often tell when they are looking at an above-average 1983 nickel because the details appear visibly stronger. Most pieces, however, fall short of this level. Circulated coins show clear wear almost immediately, and even uncirculated coins from mint sets or old rolls often have small marks or weak spots that hold them back. That's why collectors value the small number of premium examples so highly. They represent the best results possible from a year known for inconsistent strikes. Over time, these details have created a clear divide between regular 1983p nickels and the upper end of the population. The typical coins remain common and do not bring premium prices. But the highest graded examples of this year sit in a category of their own, supported by years of data showing how rarely they appear. When an exceptional example makes its way to an auction house, collectors who specialize in modern coins take immediate notice. They understand how few opportunities exist to add one of these top-level pieces to their collection. Bidding often becomes competitive not because of hype but because of scarcity. They know that once the coin sells, it might take a long time for another example of similar quality to show up. This effect is especially strong with coins that achieve top population status, meaning they are tied with the finest known or stand completely alone in the highest grade. For the 1983p Jefferson nickel, coins in this top tier are incredibly rare, and their auction results reflect that scarcity. Most of these nickels will continue to circulate unnoticed or sit in jars and drawers without anyone realizing their potential. Only when someone looks carefully at the surfaces and examines the strike does the difference become obvious. It's a good example of how a modern coin can still offer surprises to those who study the details closely. Among all known examples, the finest graded coins have achieved remarkable prices because of their scarcity and the difficulty in finding any that reach the same level of preservation. One of these top-tier 1983p Jefferson nickels reached a final auction price of $65,000. Now let's move on to another date that often slips past collectors until they examine it carefully. The 1992p Jefferson nickel may look like any other coin from the early 90s, but it has quietly earned a reputation among collectors as one of the more difficult modern nickels to find in top condition. While millions were minted for circulation, the highest quality examples are surprisingly scarce. At first glance, the 1992p looks familiar. Monticello graces the reverse as always, and Jefferson's portrait on the obverse is well known. Yet, subtle differences in striking and preservation separate ordinary coins from the ones that command attention. Many coins from this year show light softness in key areas, including the fine details of Monticello and the lettering around the edges. Even uncirculated coins often display minor contact marks that keep them from achieving top grades. The Philadelphia Mint produced these coins for everyday use, not for collectors, which means most pieces were handled, stored, or otherwise exposed to conditions that created minor imperfections. In some cases, the striking pressure varied slightly, causing raised elements to appear less defined. This inconsistency in the production process has made the few perfectly struck examples far more desirable than one might expect for a modern coin. Collectors who have spent time sorting through rolls or mint sets often notice that the difference between a typical 1992p and a premium example is easy to see. On high-grade coins, the letters are sharply defined, Monticello's steps are fully visible, and the surfaces are exceptionally smooth. Ordinary coins, by contrast, may show faint weaknesses on these details, even if they appear uncirculated. Another interesting aspect is the quality of the fields, the open areas surrounding Jefferson and Monticello. Many 1992p nickels exhibit slight abrasions, subtle texture changes, or light spots where the metal did not strike evenly. Only a small fraction of coins have smooth, clean fields that meet the strict standards of grading services. These are the pieces collectors actively seek. The edges of the coin also play a role in determining value. Coins with consistent rim thickness and no nicks or flattening are far rarer than one might expect. Similarly, the luster on high-grade examples is often unusually well preserved, giving the coin a subtle sheen that stands out among ordinary pieces. Over the years, as grading services processed more examples, it became clear just how few 1992p nickels achieved top grades. Coins in mint state 65 or higher are relatively rare, and coins graded 66 or 67 are exceedingly uncommon. The rarity is not due to low mintage, but because of the challenge in finding coins that survived with perfect surfaces and strong strikes. For collectors aiming to build high-grade Jefferson nickel sets, the 1992p has become something of a bottleneck. Even if they have excellent coins from every other year, finding one that meets the highest quality standards can take years. This creates strong demand whenever a well-preserved example appears on the market, as serious collectors recognize the limited supply. The scarcity also highlights the importance of careful storage and handling. Coins that might have appeared promising when first collected often fall short under scrutiny because of small marks or weak design elements. Only those that combine a full strike, smooth surfaces, and minimal contact damage truly stand out. Many collectors keep top-quality examples in protective holders to preserve their surfaces and prevent any loss of detail over time. Collectors have also observed that certain coins from this year tend to show slightly different characteristics in strike depth and surface finish. These variations, while subtle, are enough to make the difference between a typical 1992p and one that qualifies as a top-tier coin. Experts often emphasize examining the coin's full surfaces under magnification to ensure every detail is preserved. Experienced collectors also pay close attention to how light reflects on the coin's surfaces, as it can reveal even the smallest imperfections. Another interesting observation is that some 1992p nickels exhibit minor toning, which can either enhance or slightly reduce their appeal depending on how evenly it developed. The most desirable coins show a natural, even coloration without distracting spots. Experienced collectors know that patience is key. Sometimes it takes years of searching to locate an untouched example from this year. Coins stored in optimal conditions often retain sharper details and better luster than those kept loosely in drawers or rolls. Because of these factors, the finest known 1992p Jefferson nickels have steadily increased in value over time. Unlike coins with dramatic errors or special editions, this coin's worth is tied entirely to condition. It serves as a reminder that even modern coins can be unexpectedly rare when collectors focus on quality rather than quantity. Among all surviving examples, one of the highest-graded 1992p Jefferson nickels has a coin value of $58,000. For collectors, the 1992p demonstrates the value of patience and attention to detail. Coins that seem ordinary at first can hide real significance for those willing to study them closely. And for anyone searching through old rolls or inherited collections, it's proof that remarkable finds aren't always from long ago. Sometimes, the rarest and most valuable coins are closer to the present than most people realize. The next coin we're examining is the 2007 Jefferson nickel, a piece that most people have seen countless times but few truly understand the collector appeal it carries. Produced at the Denver Mint, millions of these nickels were released into circulation, yet only a tiny fraction remain in the condition that serious collectors seek. This coin may not have a dramatic error or unique feature, but its value comes from something more subtle, the quality of the strike and the care with which it survived over time. During 2007, the Denver Mint struck these nickels primarily for everyday commerce. That means the overwhelming majority of them were handled, exchanged, and stored without special attention. Over the years, minor contact marks, tiny scratches, or light were gradually appeared, making truly pristine examples increasingly rare. For collectors who focus on high-grade pieces, this creates an interesting challenge: how to identify coins that escaped the wear that affected so many others. Collectors often point out that certain areas of the coin reveal its quality immediately. Jefferson's portrait should have sharp contours and fine hair details, while Monticello on the reverse needs to show distinct lines, steps, and architectural clarity. The smooth field surrounding the design elements are equally critical. A coin that maintains completely clean surfaces without marks or abrasions stands out clearly from the rest, even if it looks ordinary to the casual observer. The strike itself is another key factor. Some 2007D nickels were struck lightly, which caused subtle flattening of raised features. Others received full, robust strikes that made the details almost three-dimensional. Coins with stronger strikes are far more desirable because they retain the sharpness that collectors prize. Even a small difference in the clarity of letters, steps, or facial features can dramatically impact the coin's appeal and value. Surface quality also plays a significant role. The best 2007D nickels have a soft, even luster that highlights both Jefferson and Monticello. Over time, some coins may develop toning, a gentle change in color across the metal, which can either enhance the coin's attractiveness or slightly reduce it, depending on how uniform it appears. Collectors carefully evaluate this aspect, knowing that subtle differences in toning can set a coin apart. The rim and edge of the coin are not to be overlooked. Coins with consistent rim thickness, no nicks, and no signs of flattening are far rarer than most collectors realize. Even a slight imperfection along the edge can lower the coin's grade significantly. When all these factors align, a full strike, smooth fields, perfect rims, and even luster, the coin becomes highly sought after. Over the years, the 2007D Jefferson nickel has developed a reputation among collectors of modern coins. It's considered one of those dates where quality rather than quantity defines value. High-grade examples are uncommon, and coins that meet the strictest criteria can command attention from collectors building top-level Jefferson nickel sets. The challenge of locating a pristine 2007D coin makes it particularly exciting for modern coin enthusiasts. Many collectors spend years examining rolls, old mint sets, or inherited collections, knowing that the odds of finding an untouched coin are slim. But when a superior example is discovered, it serves as a reminder that even recently minted coins can hold unexpected significance. Beyond the technical aspects, the 2007D also represents a story of preservation. Unlike coins with historical significance or famous errors, its appeal comes entirely from surviving in near-perfect condition through normal circulation and handling. That rarity, combined with the demand among collectors who prioritize flawless examples, drives its value steadily upward. Even the smallest details can make a difference. Slight differences in luster, the sharpness of Monticello's steps, or the clarity of Jefferson's hairlines can transform a coin from common to exceptional. Some collectors also track subtle die variations that appear only in certain runs from the Denver Mint, which adds an extra layer of fascination. For enthusiasts building high-grade sets, every discovery feels like a small victory. Each well-preserved 2007D nickel is a tangible example of how ordinary coins can hold extraordinary appeal. After careful consideration of strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and grading trends, the coin value of a top-tier 2007D Jefferson nickel has reached $19,000. This figure underscores that modern coins, when well-preserved, can be as valuable and fascinating as coins from decades ago. For collectors, the 2007D nickel is a lesson in patience and attention to detail. It demonstrates that even everyday coins from recent years can become highly prized if they meet exacting standards. A coin that might have been overlooked for years suddenly transforms into a significant find for someone who recognizes its rarity. Whether you're searching through old rolls, inherited collections, or even recently acquired coins, the 2007D Jefferson nickel is a reminder that value often lies in the overlooked details. The smooth fields, sharp design, and even luster tell a story that makes this coin more than just another nickel, it's a modern treasure. And in the world of coin collecting, it's proof that careful observation, patience, and a focus on quality can turn what seems ordinary into something truly remarkable. Even modern coins, often dismissed as everyday change, can offer surprises and rewards for those willing to look closely and value perfection. Moving on to the 2012 P5-cent coin, this modern nickel is often overlooked by casual coin users, yet it has become increasingly interesting to collectors who know what to look for. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, millions of these coins entered circulation, but only a small percentage remain in pristine condition. While it might appear ordinary at first, careful inspection reveals that some coins from this year have subtle characteristics that make them stand out. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 2012 P nickel is the potential for minor mint errors. Some coins exhibit slight doubling on the date or lettering, where the letters appear faintly shadowed. Others may have very subtle die cracks or contact marks from the striking process. These are not dramatic errors, but they are enough to catch the eye of an experienced collector and make a coin worth studying more closely. The condition of the coin is a major factor. Coins that were handled in everyday transactions quickly develop tiny scratches, abrasions, or loss of luster. However, coins that survived without these marks are exceptionally rare. The sharpness of Jefferson's portrait, the details in his hair and the contours of his face, can tell a collector a lot about the coin's quality. On the reverse, Monticello's steps and windows are key areas to examine. Coins that maintain crisp lines and well-defined features indicate a coin that has been carefully preserved. The fields, or the open areas around the main design, are equally important. Many 2012 P nickels show light abrasions or small marks even if they are uncirculated. The coins that retain smooth, flawless fields are uncommon and stand out under magnification. Subtle irregularities in the field or faint spotting can separate an average example from one that collectors prize. Strike quality is another consideration. Some 2012 P nickels were struck lightly, leaving minor flattening in high-relief areas, while others received a full, clean strike that enhances the three-dimensional appearance of Jefferson and Monticello. Even slight differences in strike depth can affect how a coin is graded and how collectors perceive its quality. Edges and rims are worth examining carefully as well. Coins with even rims and no flattening or nicks are far less common than you might think. The tiniest imperfection along the rim can detract from the coin's overall appearance, so coins that retain perfect edges are highly desirable for collectors who prioritize condition. Luster also plays a critical role. Coins that retain their original, reflective finish catch the light beautifully, highlighting the sharpness of the design. Even a subtle difference in surface sheen can make a coin more appealing, and coins that maintain a soft, even luster without spotting are highly sought after. Some coins even develop natural toning over time, which, if evenly distributed, can enhance visual appeal. Die variations add another layer of interest. A careful eye can detect subtle differences in lettering, date alignment, or the clarity of Monticello's architectural details. These variations can sometimes occur due to slight shifts in the die during striking, and they are often highly collectible. Coins with unusual die characteristics are particularly appealing to those who focus on modern Jefferson nickels. Collectors often compare multiple examples side by side to spot these differences. Doing so allows you to see which coins have stronger strikes, smoother fields, or more appealing luster. Even coins that appear ordinary to the naked eye can reveal hidden value under magnification. Experienced collectors know that careful comparison is essential when identifying standout pieces from this year. For those searching through rolls, old mint sets, or inherited collections, the 2012 P nickel is a reminder that modern coins can hold surprises. Coins that have been overlooked for years may suddenly reveal subtle errors or exceptional preservation, offering a unique opportunity for collectors willing to look closely. Patience and attention to detail are crucial when examining these coins. Even though the coin does not have a listed value, it could be considered quite valuable depending on its condition, strike quality, and any minor errors. It's a coin that rewards careful study and demonstrates that modern pieces, while common in circulation, can contain hidden treasures for those who understand what to look for. The 2012 P. Jefferson nickel is a lesson in observation, preservation, and patience. By carefully checking each coin for flaws, strike quality, rim consistency, luster, and subtle variations, collectors can uncover coins that are rare in appearance and exceptional in quality. What seems like an everyday coin can become a prized piece when examined closely. For anyone exploring coin rolls, inherited collections, or coins recently gathered from circulation, this nickel is a reminder to slow down and look carefully. Hidden details in seemingly ordinary coins can reveal fascinating aspects, showing that valuable finds aren't always from long ago, they might be hiding in plain sight in your own collection. If you've enjoyed exploring these coins with me today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future coin finds and collector tips. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch and learn about these fascinating nickels. Thank you for joining me on this journey through hidden treasures in everyday change. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a coin that surprised you. You never know, your story might inspire someone else to check their rolls more carefully.